I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents. Young people learn about Catholic teaching on love and marriage at a Queens bar. It's the latest installment of Theology on Tap.
God made us to love. He made us out of love, and we're here to love each other. And we should find that in marriage.
Plus, reality star Kim Kardashian's wedded bliss lasted a grand total of 72 days. What lessons can we learn from the latest celebrity breakup? We'll find out.
60% of marriages end in divorce after 5 years. So the importance of preparation is, that's obvious.
And if your marriage does not last, what do you do? Local Catholics talk about the struggles of separation and divorce.
God did not put you on this earth to suffer. No matter what we're going through, be content with where we are.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Is it an indicator of the state of marriage in the U.S.? After only 72 days and what may not have been wedded bliss, Kim Kardashian filed for divorce from her husband, NBA player Kris Humphries, this week. And reaction to the news has ranged from skepticism to cynicism. According to reports, Kardashian and Humphries did not pay for the $20 million wedding, which was broadcast around the world as a TV special. And the couple reportedly made close to $18 million. So, did Kardashian and Humphries violate the sanctity of marriage to cash in on celebrity? Or is the split really a case of true love gone sour? Well, we may never know the true answer to that, but we do know where the Catholic Church stands when it comes to marriage. And that was the topic on tap last night at a Theology on Tap in Forest Hills, Queens, where attendees also shared their thoughts on the Kardashian controversy.
People are here tonight for Theology on Tap, and we're going to talk about what the Catholic Church teaches about marriage. It's important because a lot of Catholics don't really know why we believe what we believe with the sacrament of marriage and annulments. And Father Peter Purpura works in the tribunal, so he deals day in and day out with people who are coming in with marital issues, and I think he'll be able to shed some light onto why we believe what we believe.
Well, I think for many reasons, marriage has been at the forefront. It's been in the news lately because of the passing of the same-sex legislation. Of news items like the marriage and then the breakup of Kim Kardashian. We had the royal wedding this year as well, so a lot of positive and negatives. Marriage has been out there. It's been a topic of discussion.
I think there are a lot of people that don't see marriage as important anymore. They see it, let's just live together. What's the point of getting married? And I think marriage, it's about God. It's not just these two people. They're making a commitment before God. So during these modern times, we should think that God is something it's stable.
It's the cradle of our society. It's the underpinnings of our society. If marriage collapses, if marriage fails in the United States or in the world, we see the breakdown of society.
These days, divorce is so prevalent. What's going wrong with society, whether it's legally, spiritually, or where we're going wrong, or what we can do better?
I believe that Kim Kardashian's failure at marriage kind of epitomizes what we in America think of marriage as. We kind of glamour it up, and we don't put Christ into the situation. Our catechism states that God made us to love. He made us out of love, and we're here to love each other. And we should find that in marriage.
I think it comes down to preparation, that people don't take the opportunity before marriage to really prepare themselves and ask themselves the difficult questions and to realize and reflect on the fact that it is a lifetime commitment and something that demands something of yourself, but also it's a way of life that is very rewarding and that you receive as well. But I think whatever we might be facing, a crisis in marriage, I think has a lot to do with the preparation.
It's incredibly important to me to get the church's perspective, and only the church's perspective, because everything else is so warped that it's the only truth that's still available, and again, the only true reality of what marriage is about.
I don't think anybody should ever put marriage down, because while it may not be so for all of society in general, that's okay. As long as the couples that enter into it are solemn towards that end, that's perfect.
Well, stay with us. Prominent Catholics call for understanding among different faiths as the race for the GOP presidential nod moves forward. We'll have that story and the rest of the day's headlines next. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure. Coming up in just a bit, the Catholic Church and divorce. We'll separate the fact from the fiction for you, but first, we'll have a look at the day's headlines. A group of 40 lay Catholics are calling for harmony and understanding among all faiths in the presidential election. The statement comes on the heels of remarks by Baptist pastor Robert Jeffress, who endorsed Texas Governor Rick Perry. Jeffress referred to former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney's Mormon faith as a false religion and a cult. Now, Perry says those remarks are not his views. In a statement, the group of lay Catholics asked for civility to be maintained in the public discourse. Among the signers, former U.S. Ambassador to the Vatican, Thomas Malati, and Stephen Schneck of the Catholic University of America. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney stepped in a scriptural quagmire this week. At a press briefing, Carney attempted to explain an earlier statement from President Obama about a provision in his jobs bill. The president had said that he trusts in God, but that God wants us to help ourselves by putting people back to work. Now, here's how Carney explained the statement.
Well, I believe the phrase from the Bible is the Lord helps those who help themselves. And I think the point the president is making is that we have it within our capacity to do the things to help the American people.
And the problem with that statement, of course, is that quote, the Lord helps those who help themselves, is not in the Bible. It's actually a statement that is commonly attributed to Benjamin Franklin. The White House did correct the record. In its official transcript of Carney's briefing, it posted a correction, making it clear that the quote does not appear in the Bible. Well, turning now to President Obama's home state of Illinois, where Governor Pat Quinn is responding to criticism from that state's Catholic bishops. The bishops criticized Quinn, who is Catholic, for agreeing to present a pro-choice leadership award at a luncheon later this month. Quinn says his presenting the award to a rape victim who works to help other victims is the proper Christian thing to do. The Illinois Catholic Conference responded to that, saying their original statement was not aimed at the rape victim, but at Quinn for taking part in an event hosted by an organization whose goal is to get pro-choice candidates elected. Well, a bishop in Mississippi says that his diocese is not taking a position on a ballot measure in that state that would define a fertilized egg as a person. Jackson Bishop Joseph Latino says he finds the potential consequences of that bill deeply concerning. Latino says it will be up to individuals to decide whether to support the measure, which is aimed at reducing abortions in the state. Now, earlier this week, Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour raised his own concerns, saying the measure defines life as beginning not only at conception, but also at human cloning and artificial fertilization. Well, a group of 12 nurses at one New Jersey hospital will not be required to take part in abortions while a lawsuit moves forward. A judge issued a restraining order prohibiting the University of Medicine and Dentistry from forcing the nurses to participate in abortions. The nurses say University Hospital threatened to fire them if they did not assist with abortions. Well, Ireland has announced that it is closing 3 of its foreign embassies, including its embassy at the Vatican. But as we hear now from Rome Reports, officials say it is not because of any souring between the church and the state.
The Irish government has announced that it will close their embassy to the Vatican in order to save more money. They maintain diplomatic relations with the Holy See. However, the announcement was made after a year of rocky relations between the Vatican and Ireland. The Holy See has recognized Ireland's decision, noting that the important thing was actually having relations, which in this case was not in question. The announcement was made along with plans to close 2 other Irish embassies in the countries of Iran and East Timor. The Irish have said these closures would save their government $1.7 million every year. Dublin did make it a point to note that the decision was not based on disputes over child abuse committed by members of the church.
Cardinal Sean Brady, the Catholic primate of Ireland, says the decision shows little regard for the roles the Vatican plays in international relations. Well, did a plane that made an emergency landing earlier this week have some help from above? In a scene that may be familiar to you by this time, a pilot landed this plane safely at an airport in Warsaw, Poland without landing gear. A priest on board that plane tells the Associated Press he was clutching a relic of the recently beatified John Paul II and praying for the passengers' survival. The priest says he also whispered absolution for all the passengers. He credits God and the pilot for safely landing the plane. And here in Brooklyn, a new beginning for a popular Catholic high school. Bishop DiMarzio was on hand for the rededication of Cristo Rey High School under its new name, Cristo Rey. The school, which was previously known as Lourdes Academy, opened back in 2008. The newly renamed school's first graduates will receive their diplomas in the spring of 2012. Stay tuned, there's more currents ahead. Coming up, the star-studded wedding made headlines, but just 72 days later, Kim Kardashian filed for divorce. Is there a lesson to be learned here? I'll talk to someone who counsels soon-to-be married couples.
The underlying theme throughout, I believe, is communications. That you have to communicate with each other.
Welcome back. While the marriage of Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries and its quick collapse have been dominating the headlines this week, there hasn't been much talk about the state of marriage just in general. And despite what you may see on TV, getting married is not as simple as having a fairy tale wedding and then just living happily ever after. It doesn't happen by magic. As most married couples will tell you, marriage takes a lot of work and preparation. And to help couples prepare, the Catholic Church provides a special program called pre-cana. And for more on that and what marriage really is, I sat down with a pre-cana presenter for the Diocese of Brooklyn, Deacon Richard Gilligan. Deacon, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate your time. Of course, the big kind of celebrity news of this week has been that Kim Kardashian's marriage is over after 72 whole days. And that's, it's been kind of dominating the headlines because it was such a big deal when the marriage took place. And now after just 72 days, it's over with. Is there a lesson to be learned from the length or lack thereof of this marriage? And do you see maybe that this is kind of a modern day parable for making sure you're prepared for marriage?
Yeah, but I believe the statistics say that 60% of marriages end in divorce after 5 years. So the importance of preparation is, that's obvious. Somebody that has a marriage that only lasts 72 hours, I mean, there's tons of questions why that 72, is.
72 days.
72 days, right. Well,
but
ours
still,
would be even worse. But
I know.
But, my own thoughts that I had on it when I heard that they were going to get married was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Because I know that, she had that engaged relationship with the football player Reggie Bush and that type of thing. So I was kind of surprised and questioning, like, really, what is this all about? So some other thoughts I had on it was, it's coincidental, yesterday when I was in the gym, I was listening to the radio that they had on, and the disc jockey was saying the importance of having support in the marriage from family and friends and that. And he was commenting that Kim's sister commented to, I think, Kathy Lee Gifford, that this marriage wouldn't last a week or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I went into my own thoughts, and I thought, when me and my wife Fran were first married, we were married very young, and people didn't think that our marriage would last because we were so young. But we're married over 40 years right now, and the reason is that we're in love.
Yeah.
We were in love then, and we're in love even more now. And all the other stuff around you, I don't think matters when you're in love, because true love is going to overcome everything.
There you go. You have to get married for the right reasons,
right.
I think. And, a lot of times today, I think people either may think they're in love, or they like the idea of being in love,
right.
and or they're just so looking forward to getting married, to the big wedding day. We have all of these reality shows on TV right now where it's, the competition of the brides, and the bride's doing this and the bride's doing that, and what was the Bridezillas, I think, is one where it focuses on the mean brides, and they just want everything to be perfect that day, and they don't care about the consequences and who they run over to get there. So with all this focus on the wedding day, how important is it that they actually prepare for not only the big day, which is important, I mean, it's a big day in your life, but also those years and years and years of commitment, that lifetime of commitment that should come thereafter?
Right, right. The importance is enormous. To the day should be respected, it should be celebrated, but as you're saying, how are they going to be ready for the rest of their life? Yeah. Because that day comes and goes fast.
Right.
But the rest of your life is forever. And
pre-cana is a big thing that can help. Before we have to wrap up here in just a couple of minutes, tell folks about pre-cana, how they can get involved if they're seriously considering marriage.
Right. Well, the first thing they have to do is register with their parish. And then the direction of the deacon or priest will come into play on how to enter into the pre-cana process. There's a website that pre-cana has that they would register on, and then it's all self-explanatory. And the process itself is really well structured on various topics. The underlying theme throughout, I believe, is communications. That you have to communicate with each other. You have to work on that trust to get to know each other and get to know your God. Because me and my friend, after X amount of years of marriage, we finally recognized that God was in our marriage, and it just changes everything. And it's a mystery. This incarnation of Jesus is a mystery, and your relationship is a mystery. We know each other all these years, and we're still finding out. Yeah. So the mystery keeps it going.
There you go, absolutely. So. Well, it's an amazing thing, and it's great that the resource is there for people who are seriously considering being seriously committed for a lifetime. And we'll put some more information about pre-cana up on the website for people to see that. So thank you so much. Deacon Richard Gilligan, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Great conversation.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you. Stay with us. There's more Currents ahead. When we return, a local support group discusses the challenges of being a divorced Catholic.
Really and truly, the church has to make a better effort to welcome those people that are in situations that are making them feel alienated from the church.
Well, finally tonight, we've been focusing on marriage and the Catholic Church's teaching about it on the show. But what happens when a marriage ends? Well, after a divorce, there will inevitably be a lot of questions, the biggest of which may be, what went wrong? And if you're Catholic, you may also be wondering about where you stand with the Church. Well, for answers on that, we went to a group for divorced couples that meets at St. Athanasius Parish in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. There, men and women shared experiences, and they also got some answers that may surprise you.
We are getting a divorce.
I want a divorce.
I am getting a divorce.
I don't love you anymore.
We are a group of people that are here to open up and to get it out, because the venom is in there from the hurt, the deceiving, the lying, the conniving, the cunning, the manipulating. This is all what went on with our marriages.
Most of these people have gone through a separation or a divorce, and the reason they come here is to talk about what their feelings, their anger, and also what to do about it. How do we handle our divorce? There was a need for the Catholic Church to address the issue of divorce and separation, and the best way to do it is through a support group and within the church establishment.
Annulments, can be obtained. It takes a little work, but the point of the annulment is to help somebody go through and understand what happened.
We felt that it would be very, very advantageous to have Monsignor come and speak to us on what the position of a divorced Catholic is in the modern day church.
The point is, when you're divorced and you remarry outside the church, those are the issues that cause more of the problems in the church. I think there's a whole lot of confusion. Like, can divorced people participate in the church life? Of course they can. Of course they can. There are many misconceptions about people that are divorced, and probably the greatest misconception is that they're not welcomed in the church. And really and truly, the church has to make a better effort to welcome those people that are in situations that are making them feel alienated from the church.
These are the people that unfortunately are getting divorced, and these are the people that don't know how the church feels. These are the people that need the help. The church needs to start talking about divorces.
We are a church of celebration, but at times we have to realize that there are many people suffering, and a group like this makes you aware. It opened my eyes a lot to the needs of the divorced in my own parish. So I think it'll make me focus a little more on the issue of divorce and separation.
God did not put you on this earth to suffer. No matter what we're going through, be content with where we are.
I hope that anyone that walks through these doors will take away what I have gotten out of this meetings for the last, I would say, 7 years. It's hope, strength. We share life experiences here and the sadness, but we also share happy times when one of our members maybe meets someone else at another time and is going on with their life. And we also learn in this room that we should be content to where we are in our life today.
Just a great resource there for people to go who are, going through a common thing that they all have in common, I should say, and that's the struggle of being in the aftermath of divorce or separation. But as she said, there is hope, and they can move forward together. So it's nice to know that those resources are there in the diocese. Well, that is it for this edition of Currents. Now, before we go tonight, we know that many of the young people in the diocese are going to be taking the tax exam tomorrow. That's the test for admission to Catholic high schools, TACHS, not TAX. I know you were probably thinking that, but no, the test for admission to Catholic high schools in Brooklyn and Queens. We want to wish everybody the best, both tomorrow and as they go forward with their education. And also, one more reminder, unless you want to be an hour early for Mass on Sunday, remember, it's time to fall back. That's right, set your clocks back 1 hour before you go to bed Saturday night. Well, for all of us here at Currents, I'm Matt McClure. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.